Hi, my name is Collin Ingram. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm here to talk about my record Pavement Ends, which was nominated for Best Bluegrass Album at the 12th Annual Independent Music Awards. Pavement Ends is an instrumental bluegrass record I put out last year. I composed and arranged all the tunes for the traditional 5-piece bluegrass ensemble. I kind of wanted to approach this record in terms of trying to update that original sound. I know that a lot of artists have done that in the meantime, but I really wanted to try my own take on, making a new sound out of that, traditional bluegrass ensemble. The tunes aren't like fiddle tunes. They have a lot of kind of, intricate melodies, song forms, and harmonizations that you wouldn't necessarily find in traditional bluegrass music. Still, I think that most of the music is rooted in bluegrass, and ultimately I don't have any problem calling this a bluegrass album. So for this record, I was joined by 4 fantastic musicians. The first guy I called was my friend and guitar player, Jeff Troxel. Me and Jeff Troxel both lived in Cody, Wyoming at the time that I was making this record. And so he was kind of the logical first step as far as who I should call to help me out with this. He told me to get in touch with Ben Winship. Ben Winship is an incredible mandolin player, and I've been a fan of his music pretty much since before I can remember. He played in a lot of great bluegrass bands like Loose Ties, Cain's River, and Brother Mule. So it was really awesome getting to work with a guy who'd really been a hero of mine all my life. So he played mandolin on the record and engineered the majority of it and helped produce as well. For banjo and fiddle, I used my friends Jesse Brown and Caleb Dostal, who are both from Missoula, Montana. I met those kids at Bluegrass Camp 3 or 4 years ago and thought they were absolutely phenomenal players, especially considering how young they were. And they liked playing with me, so I was always kind of looking for an excuse to get to work with those guys more. And when I realized I was going to be putting out a bluegrass record, I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather use than Jesse and Caleb. So after we finished tracking the record, I sent all the tracks off to my friend Patrick Hogg, who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Patrick is a absolutely brilliant producer and engineer who I'd worked with a couple years previously on a country album that I played on. We sent the tracks off to him and he had them finished in about a month. And a month later, in July of last year, we released the record. So I really grew up listening to bluegrass music more than anything else. And because of that, I think it's really the music that comes the most naturally to me. So when I decided I wanted to put out my own record, I don't think there was ever any question that it was going to be anything other than a bluegrass record. That being said, I still listen to all kinds of music, and I'm really deliberate to make sure that when I write bluegrass music, it isn't just bluegrass music. I want it to be, a culmination of all my influences. And honestly, I think that's been the spirit of the music ever since people started making it, 70 years ago. I don't really like the idea of competitive music. I think it's just a little bit ridiculous to try to compare 2 different songs or 2 different albums or 2 different artists. I don't really think that you can be competitive with your art and have it still be art. That being said, I entered the Independent Music Awards not so much because I was so worried about winning, but because it looked like a great opportunity to get my name out there. And honestly, that's the most important thing for independent artists. There's people all over the country making incredible music every day, and a lot of it's not going to get heard by very many people simply because they don't have any, reason to have heard of that group. So for me, it's really important for me to be able to share my art, with everyone. It's really crucial that people get a chance to see my name and get a chance to see a little, validity behind what I do. And I think that's the main reason that I entered the Independent Music Awards. Anyway, thanks for watching this interview and thanks for listening to this album. Thanks to everybody at the Independent Music Awards for giving me the chance to do this. If you want to keep up with me and my adventures, feel free to head over to colliningram.com anytime. And I really hope I get to see you somewhere down the road.